Welcome back to Wicked F150. So today's video is actually an install, but this morning I did post the being at the Ford dealership, and hold on. So that issue, it's not something serious. It's kind of easy. It's going to get taken care of. So probably about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, if that, the rear end really started squeaking bad. Anytime I went over a bump, getting in and out of the truck. And I mean, I'm not huge, but I don't think I weigh enough to hurt the springs of a truck that's only 2 months old. So I thought that it was just from getting it muddy and washing it off. It just needed lubricated and that was it. So I did that myself, didn't change not a thing. So I took it in this morning for them to do that. And instead, they decided that it doesn't need lubricated, that the leaf springs are bad. So they're gonna replace the leaf springs, both sides, and that was the issue. The leaf springs are bad. Just gotta wait for them to, they ordered them, gotta wait for them to come in and take it back in, and they'll replace them. So some simple issue that is gonna get fixed, I'm not worried about it. But that is the first issue with the 2.7. Which they said that the leaf springs failing quite early is a new thing that's they see happening quite a bit. So just to get that out there for y'all. Now the install. So we are installing amp power steps today. Let's take a look at them here. All right. So I already got the driver's side factory running board off. Passenger side still on. So all you have to do to remove these is those 3 nuts. That's all that's holding the running board on both sides. It's right here, about directly down from the mirror. You got the 3 bolts. It's 13 millimeter on the front and the rear. Remove them, running board's gone. So now to install the power steps. These are the amp research power steps for the F-150, of course. And as you can see, it already has the motor and everything on it. They are used. So let's see how they work. Now, the wiring and everything that is, if you YouTube any other power step install, the wiring is a lot more in depth than what it is going to be for this one. Let's see, like they're already crimped. These are the LED lights. They're already crimped and done, so I don't have to do that. However, with these, you're supposed to drill, I think it's 9 64 fourths or something like that, through the pinch weld underneath the truck to get these, to get these LED, the wires through the hole for the LEDs on the outside to light up when the steps come down. Since they're still connected, obviously he did not do that. So we're gonna see if I can get these hooked up without having to drill a hole myself, because I would prefer that. But everything's already hooked up, crimped together, that needs to be crimped together. So that is gonna save me a lot of time on doing this. So let's go ahead and get them installed. All right, so we got the first step on. It is bolted up to the truck. Obviously the wires are not hooked up yet, but I wanted to stop here and show you how to go from there. But somebody else wants to show you my little helper today. So what'd we do?
We screwed the little
nuts on,
and then
how many were there?
2.
3.
Oh yeah, 3. And there were 3
on both sides, right? On the front and the back?
Yeah.
What else do we have to do with that? Because they were used. Now, a new set, you won't have to worry about this, but it is how you get them lined up. Up underneath here. Here, I'll show you on the set that's still sitting here. So, on these, you have these little Allen heads on the back. That's how you secure the step itself to the bracket. And because they're used and already hooked up, this came off a 16 F-150, and he says they were even. Well, they're not on this one. As you can see, the back end has about probably, I'd say 14 to 16 inches, and the front has maybe six or seven. So I'm gonna have to, once it's said and done, readjust that. I had to undo the rear to get that to line up to begin with on the bolts coming through to secure it, because the rear one, I put the front on, the rear was coming probably right here. But because the front, he left them in the down position when he unplugged them, I cannot remove the front one. I unscrewed the Allen keys and it won't come off. I'm assuming that has to do with the motor on the front being down. So once I get it wired up and I can get them running, then I'll try to readjust that so it's even the whole way through. But as you can see, the wires are coming through here. Cindy, you want to tell them about the wires? Okay, I'll tell them. Or do you want to? Tell them where we put them through.
I don't know to do that. I don't have that sewing tape.
You're fine. Where we put them through?
We put the tires through the top. We put the wires through the top, and then we put them down here. So
on the wheel well, right?
Yeah, on the wheel well.
So this box that you get, obviously, again, not going to be already hooked up, but this is the power box. You'll notice that end, it has your positive and negative to hook up to the battery. So the shorter wire set will go to the passenger side, and the longer wire set will go to the driver's side. But like I said, this gets stuck up here with 3M tape, wherever you can find to put it. So you just run the wires down through the wheel well and run them down to the running boards, because this plug here, driver or passenger, that'll plug into the motor, and then these are your LEDs to light up when the steps come down. So that's done. Let's go ahead and get them plugged in.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
And they're hooked up and ready to go. So it was actually a really simple install. The hardest part is just trying to find places to zip tie the wires, because you know they give you a little extra lengthwise to route it or however. So that's the hardest part, is actually finding places to zip tie them. But they both are in, passenger or driver and passenger. They are now even from front to back. It was actually just stuck. It had nothing to do with the motor itself, of course. Should have kind of been a no-brainer, because they're just bolted underneath here. But there was just mud caked in there, so they were a pain to get out, to get unlatched, you know. But both sides are equal now, front to back. They work. Let's get under here. I didn't cut. I only cut one zip tie when I had to get to splice the power wire together. But to get up underneath here, I left the rest of them on so you can see where I did it. So you can see the purple cords right there. That goes up through that grommet underneath your carpet, and then it plugs into your OBD port. So that's what I had to splice together. That wire was not already done for me, because of course you have to cut it to get it out, because the OBD plug's on the other end. But as you can see, I just electrical taped them, because the splices I had here were not big enough for them. So I zip tied it up there underneath the tire to keep it out of the suspension components. I zip tied it right there in that little hole. Again right there. Again right there. And I used 3M tape. I guess that's just on the other side to hold the wire up out of the way, because there's a little extra on the passenger side. So I used 3M tape to hold it up out of the way. But of course I'm going to cut the zip ties. They're not going to stay there. I just want to keep them on so that way you guys could see where I did it, whether it was just a bolt or a hole that I could find to keep them up out of the way. It is that simple. And then inside here, like I said, you run it up through that little grommet, which is basically right about there where your floor mat comes in. You just pop this little skid plate, whatever you want to call it, off. Plastic trim removal tool. Pop it off and get up underneath the carpet right there. And you can see it, feel it, whatever. And then I ran the cord up the trim right here and then plugged right into the OBD port. It is that easy. So let's go ahead and see them work. Now, since they're still open, why don't they work? Well, because of course I had to level them out. So this fuse is exactly why they're not working at the moment. And yes, the engine bay is horribly dirty, and that is planned for tomorrow to clean that out. So you just take the fuse and put it inside here. And now they are gone. I actually think it looks really good without the running boards. But you can see them hanging there, up underneath. So, and then there's the LED shining on the step. So I guess you don't miss the step. But it is that easy and simple. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys like the power steps. I love them already. It gives them a nice look. You know, normally just sitting here, driving, and then when you need them, you have the step. So, I hope you guys are ready for the next video, because the next one is going to the back end. It is shipping Monday, so it should be for next weekend. And I think it's going to sound amazing. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe button. Have a great weekend.